is Coach Mo here with the Evening Social Podcast. The Evening Social Podcast is the Jegna Klub's platform to build a community of individuals who are economically independent and have an entrepreneurial mindset. This platform puts in front of our youth individuals that look like them, that are thriving in a professional manner. This evening, I got a huge smile on my face because the guest that we have tonight is someone really close to my heart, and I have a good attachment to him, not just because we bulldogs, but because we share some history. Tonight's episode is entitled Never Surrender. The person that we have tonight is a state champion. He is a Big 12 player. Yeah. I'm trying to remember some of these things. I did so much research. All conference. Right. Yeah. We're going to get to some of that, newcomer of the year type of things, But what we got is Mr. Vic Williams. So, how you doing?
Hey, man, I appreciate the opportunity to come. You know how I feel about you, my guy. So anything that you ask me to do and any way that I can push the community forward, I'm always in. So I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So part of the definition of the word Jegna, it's an Ethiopian word, kind of an Aramaic. So part of the definition is speak truth to power. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Some people say it's hard conversations, but what it is just we're having real conversations about real circumstances that happen and your pathway to success. And so I always say this, this is not for us. This conversation is not for us. It's for those who came before us and those who come after us. So we're going to honor those who helped us get here, and then we're going to teach the ones that's coming up from behind us. So I always say that. I got to ask a couple questions to start off before we get to our first segment. Okay. First, can you tell us what your profession is?
What I've started up, I started up a business. I call it a ministry. Because I teach the game of basketball, but basketball is what we do. It's not who we are. So I look at it as more of a ministry. But I've been blessed by God with the ability to communicate information through basketball. So I teach basketball specifics, and I have a gym that I get kids and parents that trust me to teach the game of life through the game of basketball. So that's what I do.
Okay. So not only are you an entrepreneur because you own your own business.
Right, exactly.
Okay. But then you also are an educator because you educate life and you educate skills in basketball.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think that, basketball and life go hand in hand. The same values and the same mental toughness that it takes to get through competitive basketball, which, you know as well as I know that, you have a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and it's your ability to stay the in between is what allows you to be successful. And that's that. And in life is the same thing. You have good times, you have bad times, but your ability to be accountable for the bad times and stay right in between, never get too high, never get too low, will make you will make you successful in life. So, I just I try to just speak a lot of mental toughness and really try to educate kids on how to be mentally tough and just utilize basketball as a platform.
Man, it's good. I'm loving it. I'm so excited about today because I know who you are. Yeah. I know, that you're not preaching nothing that you haven't done yourself or that you didn't have to do. I love that. So our first segment that we have today is I try to do something that's kind of like an icebreaker. Right. So we have a little fun questions, icebreaker, kind of just set the tone.
Let's do it.
And then we go. So I got a few questions for you to start off. So I'm gonna put these on so I make sure I got the right segment. I got to wear these now. Don't worry, you laughing. A few more years, you're gonna be.
I already got them. I just left them at home.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm at the right spot. Okay, so our first question is, what is one thing most people don't know about Victor Williams?
That I'm a teddy bear at heart. I'm a very giving person. I'm one who's very open to others. I enjoy leadership around me to motivate me. I'm very, I'm not the one to have a lot of friends that are what I call yes men. You know, I like for bosses to, I call them bosses. I like for bosses to be around me. I'm motivated by that. But I have a very rough exterior, and you know, I'm very confident in who I am as a person. But you know, on the inside, I'm very soft.
Okay.
And once you get to that part, you know, I feel like you'll realize I'm not as I am on my exterior, you know, tough, and you know, I have a balance to me on the interior. So, you know, that's one. A lot of people don't really know that about me until they get to know me.
All right, Teddy Bear Vic.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
All right. So, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would you choose?
If I had to describe myself in 3 words, that's good. Passionate, mentally tough.
Like it. Passionate, mentally tough. Good. I think that does describe it. That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I like that. So tell me this. I want you, don't think about it. I just want you to just answer this, the first thing that come to your mind. All right. What was your first thoughts when you heard it signed with the Toronto Raptors?
Tears of joy.
Yeah.
Cried. I really did.
Yeah.
You know, I cried when I seen it. It was crazy because I was out on a vacation with my son. I woke up early that morning and did a workout. After the workout, I'm sitting in a breakfast area where you can order some breakfast, and I pick up my phone and the first thing that pop on my phone, and I'm literally start crying. You know, I've seen him since he been in 5th grade. He had a lot of success very early that I was a part of and had the pleasure to be a part of, and he went through some things that created some adversity, and now he is where he is, and that's who, you know, Victor Williams basketball certified is all about.
Yeah,
that's exactly who it is. If anybody want to know, you know, who I am, and what I do, you know, you just look at that life story, what he's been through in his life, you know, how he's overcame it, and that describes, you know, my relationships with all my kids.
I love it. And for those who don't know, we're talking about Ishmael Wainwright.
Yep, Ishmael Wainwright. Yep.
Just signed with the NBA, the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
Okay. So now now this was, I don't know where you're gonna go with this one, but
Right.
I've been waiting to ask you this one.
All right.
You know, because I you know, we follow each other, so I see some of the posts and
Yeah.
some of the feeling, you know, your name wasn't on certain things.
Yeah.
You know, so we gonna
we hit that. We all hit that.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about this.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
So you know what the TBT is, right?
Yes,
the basketball term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So if you had to pick, you know, a team to go play in the TBT, you know, for that $1 million,
Right.
you know, and you can pick,
Right.
you know, before I was gonna limit you, but I ain't gonna limit you.
Right.
You can pick any era,
Right.
wherever you want to go.
Right.
We gonna leave. I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
I'm gonna stick with my initial career. We just gonna go current, pro, college, and high school athletes. I got another question any year coming up.
Right.
But if you was picking current pro, college athletes that's from Wyandotte County.
Wyandotte County only?
Yeah. We just talking about the county.
Well, you know, for me.
Well, let me don't say Wyandotte County.
Right.
I don't want to do
No,
it.
I like to stick with my own.
You gonna stick? Okay. Okay.
That's just me. That's just me. Just stick with our.
We gonna stick with Wyandotte County.
We got enough over here to where we can make a TBT.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to limit you.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, no disrespect to anybody in Missouri. You know, I mean, of course, I'll start with Jerron and Anthony Pillar if I had to do that.
Okay.
But you know, I like to give my own community its flowers, and you know, so when it comes to things like that, you know, I like to be able to, you know, so for me, I like to pick people that I'm comfortable with and that I know firsthand. Not to say that somebody before me was a lot better, or you know, in that area, I wouldn't. You know, I don't want to have that debate. I'm just only picking guys that influence my life that I seen, you know, with my own 2 eyes. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So, I mean, for me, I'm starting off with, you know, a Jabo, Vinny Smith, starting off there, you know, Earl Watson, Nate Johnson, who, you know, that's the act. You know, that's
Okay.
what it's gonna be. You know, Chris Weems, you know, Chestnut. One of my all-time favorites, and he doesn't get enough respect, but I actually played with him. I actually played with him, and I just seen it day to day. J.B. Martin, you know, J.B. Martin was a monster, man. Like he was a monster. You know, I think Jason Carruthers, and you know, he got hurt. That was a really unfortunate deal. Like he kind of grew up in the wrong time. You know, ACL right now is a 7-month injury. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it took his career down, but he was a elite guy for me. And I can go on and on and name.
That's where you start.
You know, that's where I'm gonna start. You know, me personally, you know, I feel like I'm not gonna put myself in there. I just kind of not how I roll. You know, I let other people, you know, make their predictions and how they see it. But you know, I believe I can compete in any situation. That's just me as a person. But you know, I had so many guys, man, and I probably left out some that influenced my career that I had so much respect for growing up around the area. So, you know, just to name a few, to kind of give us a start to the team. I'm gonna start with those guys. Okay. You know what I mean? And I'll probably leaving out 4 or 5 that I would probably put on.
We just got to start though. They got to understand this was a start.
Yeah, this is a start. You know, this name.
But we got to have tryouts, so people got to come.
Exactly.
So we just a start. The first invitation's going out.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna start with those guys. And,
okay.
And we'll pick up the back 3 or 4
okay.
You know, later on.
Gotcha. and I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, I think we got a plethora of talent here in Wyandotte County.
Yeah.
You know, a lot that goes unnoticed, a lot that people don't remember sometimes. But I think we do. Yeah. We've had enough to compete with any.
Yeah, and that was, you know, my problem with the whole post. You know, and I think everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But when we talk basketball, we got to talk basketball. When we talk legendary, we got to talk legendary. And I think, you know, when you go comparing different people, you know, there's certain guys that's just undeniable. You got to make sure that you keep those guys inside of a loop, and it can't be a friendship type post when you put energy out there. And you know, and for me, that was, you know, I'm always defend us. You know, now defenders, I defend us always, no matter where we at. And because I just believe our level of basketball, you know, is top notch. You know, we talking about basketball from First Street and all the way up to about 61st to 70th. You know, then that's kind of where it stopped. Everything in between is high level, and that's where we get, you know, that's where we get our numbers from. Right. You very seldom hear about us talk about a guy that went to school in Blue Valley or went to school in Shawnee Mission. That's just kind of where we pull our talent from. Right. And you know, with Kansas City, you know, they pull their talent from Grandview, Raytown, and all these different places. So, you know, I felt like, you know, in our area, and you know, and that's the area that I could speak on. You know, we stacked up with any of those guys, anytime, anywhere, any day, and I think we proved ourselves enough not to be left off any list.
I agree. I totally agree. 2 more of these fun questions. This fun. We can have this debate, a whole show on these debates, but 2 more of these fun questions. I got to ask you this, and I don't know if I know the answer, but I think I might know where we going with this. Right. Who was the hardest person that you ever had to guard?
In high school?
Who did you get that to? Yeah. Period. I'm just giving you the hardest person. Whether it was in high school, because it was high school, whatever. Just give me the hardest person you think. Or you want to give me a high school and a college?
I want to start with high school first, because I really felt like I became this person of competitive fire when I played against Jabo for the first time. Okay. I learned myself, and I had to make a decision. You know, he tested me as a man. Yeah. Like, I felt like that was a turning point in my career. I had to make a decision. Do you want to do this or do you don't? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I'll never forget the time that I seen him, because I would always hear about him. And he was on the court at Kensington. And I walk up and they never let me play. But because the competition was just at another level. And usually by the time he got done playing, I mean, he would play 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. The competition dropped, he'll be done. And it was one day I'll never forget. I'm on the back end, everybody done playing, so now it's my turn. I'm in the 8th grade going into my 9th grade year. And Jabo played another game, so I'm on it. This is my opportunity. And the competitive juices that he had going through him, I couldn't identify with. I was just like, man, this dude is just playing so hard and just taking my ball and he didn't know me from a can of paint that I knew. Mm-hmm. And it was just, he just had this competitive spirit that was different. It didn't matter who you was, I'm coming at you. You can be an NBA guy or you can be this little 8th grader that's trying to check me. Yeah. And I think he drugged me for like 11 out of the 12 points that we were going to. And I earned his respect because I continued to try. So every time he would see me at the park, he would continue to pick me up or he'd continue to go at me every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so from to answer your question, like I just always remember him because he created my competitive spirit. He really did. Like he did. Like he created that. So from that point on, it was hard for me to give anybody that credit because I was too competitive. You know what I mean? Like from that after that, it's just kind of like I felt like I could hold myself on against anybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, like who the hardest person I had to guard, I can't answer that. Now I was on the court with Carmelo Anthony and high level players that I played against, but Jabo for me, was the hardest person that I had because that's who created this guy. Like, and to this day, like that's who created the energy and the competitive spirit that I knew I had to play with in order for me to get to where I wanted to get to.
Got it. I understand. I respect that and I understand that.
Right.
That's the truth.
Right. So I
not taking from nobody else.
No, not taking from nobody else.
But that's who built.
Earl is Earl. You know what I'm saying? But I'm never in a high school setting. I never had to check him because he. Earl played the 5, bringing the ball up. Give the 6. So we put bigger guys on him. You know what I mean? So I never had to check him. But everybody know how I feel about him. But far as just being like a small guard and having to put your back to somebody that's small just like you, that's the guy for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and it's no disrespect. It's we talking about your experience, what molded you. And there's nothing wrong. And other people have molded you, but we were talking about defense. We were talking about guarding. We were talking about situation.
Like situational. Yeah. Who I had to check up against to where I said, this is a problem.
Right. I like how you said it made you check yourself, like,
do I really want to do this or not? Dude. I mean, at 5'9.5", do you really want to play this sport at a high level? Yeah. And that's where I learned how to do it.
Good. I got it. I'm with it. And that's a good understanding for everybody to understand that.
Right.
Yeah. And we see where it took you, though.
No doubt.
We see where that competitive spirit,
exactly.
what it led you to, what you're doing to today. From that point on, you realized the level that you need to play.
Right.
Not just play it, but the level you had to want it.
You had to mentally get to.
Yeah.
You had to mentally get to.
I love that.
So that's where I learned. I tell people, I go back to Kensington sometime and just kind of walk around sometimes because I really think that day was a big turning point in how hard I had to work to get to where I wanted to go.
All right. Now we're going to leave that alone. I ain't going to ask you that second.
Nah.
We just going to let that ride out,
okay.
And we're going to move to the next segment.
All right.
Now, I know a few things about you, but I want our listeners, the kids and the families, to understand. I know that if I'm not mistaken, I know it's October, but I think it's the 15th that you were born.
October 15th. I appreciate that.
All right. Now, when you were born, it was in 79.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So where were you born?
I was born in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
So my mom and my dad was pastoring a church in Richmond, Virginia. Okay. And he was a CME preacher. So in CME, they move you around and kind of got this way of, they move you to these different towns and, you do a church. So my dad was a preacher and my mom was, and so I was born in Richmond, Virginia, but I think I was only there for a few months ago, a year or two before I moved to Kansas. So I can't remember it, you know, I see it on my birth certificate, so I guess that's where I was born.
Okay. So you answered the next question too. When you got to Wyandotte County, when you got to Kansas. Now, I'm gonna ask you, which would be some the hard questions that people say conversations.
Yeah.
But tell me about the relationship you had with your mom growing up.
My mom my mom always tell me she raised me with fear. Okay. You know, she never wanted me to be somebody that got into the streets. She never wanted me to, you know, to get into the wrong life. So she was really hard on me, you know, really, really hard on myself and my sister. She challenged us to make sure that we be exactly where we said we was gonna be, and be at the house before the street lights come on.
Yeah.
Hey, period. Yeah. And I think that was her way of raising us. She just, you know, made sure that, you know, we didn't have the money to get everything we wanted, but she made sure we had everything we needed. She was a hard worker. She was just somebody, man, that I look up to, you know, to this day. Like she, you know, battled through any adversity. Like, you know, I look at my situation. I drive by the places that I lived at, the houses that I grew up in, and it was just like, man, I never felt poor. You know, I never felt like I was in a situation where somebody didn't love me or somebody didn't care about me. Like, and it was an energy that she created for me. Like she just always let us know how much she loved us, how much she cared, you know, and she would do anything that's in her power to make sure that we had everything that we needed and we didn't go without. And so, you know, I have a high level of respect for my mom, and I mean, she's a great woman.
Okay. Yeah, you got a great mother.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. I remember the very first time that I met your mom. I was coming to pick you up. Yeah. We was going for basketball.
Right.
And she said, you need to come in the house so I can know who you are.
Know who you are, right, exactly.
And then she asked me, and she said, it's your responsibility to make sure he get back the way he left this house. I respect her every day since then because I understood what she meant.
Yeah. My mom was one of the realest people, and that's when people, it's funny because, you know, my mom, I share my mom with so many people, man, because so many people had so much respect for her. To this day, like, I get stories. I be in the, man, I remember your mom, your mom, because I think that the one thing about people, man, we respect authentic. Like, we respect something that's real. Yeah. We respect, if I see you, I know what I'm getting, right? Right. And that describes my mom to a T. You know what you're getting. She ain't switching up. She don't care if she's, you know, in the middle of a bunch of rich people or she in the middle of the poorest of the poor. She gonna be the same exact person. Right. And I think that's what everybody respects about her, and that's the one thing I respect about her also.
Like it. Love it. So now, on the other end of it, describe your relationship with your father.
My father, man, it's a different type of situation. My father was actually involved in my life when I was younger. When I was coming up, he was a really hands-on father. You know, he actually taught me sports. You know, he taught me baseball. But as the pressure started to build in life, and as things started to happen, and things started not to go his way, and things became uncomfortable, I think he succumbed to that. I think he bowed out in a situation where, you know, pressure started to build on him. He moved away. I really lost contact with him. To this day, to be honest with you, I don't have much contact with him at all. But when I was a young kid, he was. I would say he did what he did his part because he was involved, and that's all I ever ask anybody to do: just be involved. You know, it's not about finances, what you can do, what you can't, but you know, your ability to be present and to do what you say you're going to do was everything for me at the time. And he bowed out of a situation that I felt like, and I don't know what the situation was, but it was I know strong and weak, you know, especially coming from my mother. You know, I know when it's strong and I know when it's weak. You know, everybody has a decision, and he made a decision. And so to answer your question, our relationship is not necessarily, you know, what I would like for it to be, but I'm comfortable with that. You know, I don't want to take any credit for my mother and what she did for me and my sister, so I don't harp on it. I don't bother it. It don't bother me. You know, I just make sure I got two little boys, and I make sure that I be where I say I'm gonna be, and do what I say I'm gonna do. Okay. So to answer your question, you know, I wish him all the best of luck if he ever was to to want to mend a relationship with myself, I would be more than happy to do it, but it has to come from him.
Understand. I got it. I love what you said, too, about your sons.
Uh-huh.
You know, that kind of led to a question I had about, you know, does this influence what you do as a father? 'Cause I think you're a great father. I see you know.
I mean, nah, I don't use negatives to make positives. Good. My mother influenced me to be a good father. Okay. What she did and how she raised me and what she did to, you know, to be accountable, to make sure that she got both feet in the fire. That's what I want to do for my kids. Okay. And so that's what motivates me to be a father, man. You know, I don't look at, you know, negatives and try to turn them into positives. I just say, look, man, I'm gonna see what she did, or, you know, and you and coaches that I've had that I've watched over the years be really, really good dads, and that's what's been motivating for me, man. And so I'm just trying to you know, duplicate that the best I can, learn from mistakes that I'm gonna make, and but at the end of the day, I want to make sure I'm present, and again, I do what I say I'm gonna do, and I be where I say I'm gonna be. So I think if I stick to those core values, then give me the best chance to be successful.
I like it. I like that statement too.
Right.
Be where you say you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Do what you say you're gonna do.
Exactly.
My dad used to say that all the time.
Right. If you do those things, man, it's gonna give you the best chance, right?
Yeah, I get it. Yep. So now tell me a little bit about your relationship with Nichelle, your sister.
Oh man, that's my dog now. That's my dog. Like that. That's my girl, man. I tell everybody, man, like, my sister was a go-getter, you know what I mean? She was one of those people that, you know, she gonna get up in the morning. I'm asking mom for $10. She got $60 in her pocket because she went to work. You know, she like, but she asked about for nobody. Yeah. You know, she just had this go-get-it attitude about her. She was always my biggest fan. You know, and you know, Nichelle was she just her own person. You know what I mean? Like she gonna tell you how she feel. You know what I mean? Like she tells me all the time, you need to do a better job of calling and, you know, and being present and, you know, with the family and things like, so, you know, that's my girl. Like that's if anybody can set me straight at 41 years old, that's her. Like she ain't afraid to speak up and let me know when I need to be be doing some stuff I need to be doing. And so, you know, that's my sister. I love her to death. She's a great mother. She got a daughter that's turning 21 tomorrow. So you know, I guess it's about to get tough for her a little bit. You know, turning 21 is that. But yeah, so she's doing great. She's living in Wichita, and you know, that's, like I said, that's my sister. That's you know, that's my very first best friend.
Okay, good. I love it, and that's why I asked you this, because I know some things. But one of the things I wanted to portray in this section so that our listeners and our people in our community understand, right, you know, the relationship you had. Right. It's the bond of a brother and sister, a bond with a mother, you know what I mean? And that you could be in a situation, right, and still in a situation, like you said, you never really knew some of the things. You know, you didn't know that you was living like this because of the love that you had in the house, and that you had what you needed and you kept moving. Yeah. So, I talk to my mom about that all the time, because she always, you know, she's one of them reflectors, like, look back on stuff. And, oh, my God, I wish I would have did this, and I wish I would have had this, and we would have lived like this. And, like, Mom, listen, man. We was good.
We was good. Like, give yourself some flowers. Yeah. You done raised 2 successful kids with college degrees. Yeah. Very successful. And you did it on your own, you know, off your sweat equity. Like, you gotta give yourself that energy, like, you know. So, you know, I get her out of that energy all the time. She's like, I just want to. Nope, you ain't want to say nothing. Yeah. Like, I need you to say, God is good all the time. Okay. Because he you know, we good, man. We good. Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of friends and families that's been torn apart, you know, through, you know, kids going to jail or getting murder, and the environment that we lived in. It's just like, man, like, you know, you one of the lucky ones, and you got to be able to accept that. But, you know, sometimes she just getting in the reflective mode. I had to pull her out of that.
Yeah, parents always want
want
to give their kids
exactly.
more and more and more. You know,
exactly.
this
Yeah,
and that.
yeah. I
she
never
did a wonderful job.
Yeah, I tell her all the time. I say, Mom, I never looked at somebody. I never looked at a kid's life, and he might have come from a different background. He might got two parents. I said, I'm gonna tell you this. I've never ever looked at the kids like, I said, man, I wish I was you.
Yeah.
You know,
that's saying a lot there.
I said, that's saying a lot. Coming from where I come from, like I said, I've never said, and you know, and I done traveled all over the world to play basketball. Yeah. But I never looked at a man or a girl or nothing that I've been in front place. Man, I wish I was your life. You know, I played on a teammate where you know, the Cronkies, they actually own the Denver Nuggets now. And they would come and pick us up for practice in a private jet. You hear me? And take us back to Columbia so we can practice and then fly us back that same night. And it's private. They were millionaires. But I never looked at Josh and said, man, I want your life. Right. Never. Like, I was like, man, you know, when I'm getting back to the dot, I got that KFC. Mom just got that KFC on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get back. Like, hey, how fast this plane can get me back to the crib? Yeah. Like, I appreciate it, Josh. Yeah. You got this nice mansion, but take me back to the dot. Like, and that's all energy that she gave us, man. She made us feel like, you know, when we was away from home, we wanted to get back. And that's just, and I feel like that about her to this day. Man, what you're saying is so. I've heard this say before. You don't have to give your kids the world, right? To give them the world. Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. So I felt like I had it. Like, I felt like I had it for sure. Yeah. Good, man. Now let's move a little bit to school a little bit. So what grade school did you attend? I attended Grant grade school. Grant Elementary. Yeah, Grant Elementary. Yeah, you so I really thought you was gonna say that, but I thought you went from Grant to somewhere else because you know I work at Grant now. Yep. So I went to Grant to John Fisk. Okay. Remember they only had 4. They went up to 4th grade. Okay. And then John Fisk went up to 5th. Okay. And then I went to Northwest to go to middle school. Okay. That's where my mom was. I'm like, I thought he went to Grant, but I thought he went somewhere else too. Okay. Yeah. So I'm at Grant now? Pleasant Green was that's across the street. Yeah, right across the street. That was kindergarten, or was that preschool? Preschool. Then I went to kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th at Grant. Okay. Yep. So now I'm putting the plug in. You know, I work at Grant, so we need alumni to come back and speak to the kids. So I'm putting the plug in. Let's do it. I love to do that. I can't tell you the last time I've been in Grant. Man, so that'll be. So they got a little upgrade. Okay. They did get a little upgrade and stuff. So you got to come take a tour and I would love
talk
to do
to
that.
The kids, man. I would love to put that in there, man. They need to see it.
I would love to do that.
Okay. Yeah, all right. You let me know. That's for another one, but I had to put that plug in.
Let's do it. I'm with that for sure. Okay. All right. So we know we went. You said you went to Northwest Middle School. Tell me something. One question about middle school. Northwest. What do you think you got from going to Northwest? I became a leader. Okay. Because it was a lot of destruction. It was a lot of people going the wrong way. It was a lot of people that's to me, middle school is kind of where you kind of got to make a decision. What lane you want to be in. You got to make a choice, right? And for me in that during that time, when drugs and gangs was moving really heavy. Yeah. And the popular ones was the drug dealers in the gang, so you had to kind of make a decision, and I never forget, man. So it was a party that I was in the 7th grade going to my 8th grade year, and it was a party, and it was this party that they wanted me to go to, right? So the basketball team, we throwing this big skip party. We inviting all the girls. So basically, the girls and the guys are gonna hook up at this party, right? Not to get too much team out, but I decided not to go. So I ain't going. So that's not the party for me. I'm just not going. And I had to do this on my own. I'm the point guard. You start point guard. We had a lot of, and I'm not going. So I went around the school that I was scared of girls. I didn't like girls. And so this rumor just kind of started. I was scared of girls. I'm answering but I went home, and I remember I was telling my mama, and my mama just looked at me like, man, who gives a about them people, like, who you are, and it just kind of really built my own self-esteem to where I could start, like, hey, I don't need to do what you're doing. I do what I want to do, right? And so at Northwest, I always tell people about that story because I really felt like that's when I started to kind of see my self-confidence as a person, my own person, not looking for somebody else to make a decision for me to make a decision. And so that's kind of, you know, describe Northwest. I think that's where I made my decision on what type of life that I wanted to live and who I wanted to surround myself around, and, you know, in the avenue that I wanted to go down. So, you know, that's what I think that Northwest done for me.
Okay, I love that, man. I love the fact that, because our listeners need to understand that it's okay to be who you are, and you don't need validation from anybody else.
Right.
You know, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that.
And that's what VWBA. People always ask me what certified means, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it VWBA certified? Mm-hmm. And I tell them the certified is validation from yourself, right? So when people get misconstrued, they think somebody else gives you confidence. So I come to you, you give me confidence. That's untrue. Now somebody can take fake confidence away. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I know.
Like if your confidence is not real, I can take it away.
Right.
But I can't give it to you. You give it to yourself. Right? And once you start to believe in yourself and you have a validation that comes from you, then you control every narrative at that particular time.
Right.
So that's when I say certified. It's more, it's less about basketball, but it's more about your ability to create energy about yourself and have this confidence and this aura about you that you believe in yourself. Nobody can take this away from me. Yeah. So getting back on the point on being able to be somebody that can look somebody in the eye and say, look, this is my decision. That's confidence to me. That's the ability to be confident and step away from the crowd and knowing that the whole crowd is looking at you at that particular point, but that's not going to sway you left or right. You got the ability to hold on to it. So that's what the word certified came from, you know, just because we touching on that subject a little bit. It's just like, you know, validate yourself. Don't look to social media. Don't look to things that give you energy. Energize yourself, right? Make yourself get up. Like the alarm clock goes off at 5 a.m., nobody else is up. But can you hit the alarm clock, get up, get to work, or do you need somebody to come in and say, you woke up at 5 a.m, you just worked out, you did this. And I think that's what happens in today's generation. You know, with the social media era, we always looking for somebody to give us energy. You know, everybody want to show themselves working out or show themselves doing something that they supposed to be doing, right? Mm-hmm, right? So yeah, man, confidence is big. You know, confidence and validation, as you said, to your ability to just be able to validate yourself and not look for other people to validate you. Now, we all of course, we all want somebody to say, hey, good job, great job. But what happens if they don't? Does that really mean you didn't do a good job or you didn't work as hard as you possibly could because somebody said no? That's where your confidence and your self-belief come in when they don't. And so that's what I want to try to pour in the kids, because I think that's where your biggest success come from, is when you can start to validate yourself.
I like that. That's great. So let's move a little bit to high school.
Okay.
In high school, I'm gonna just say two things that I think stood out for me, and then we can talk a little more, and I'm gonna ask a question. But in high school, I just remember two things. I remember, one, you being the Co-Dorena Award winner.
Right.
For people who don't know what that is, that's like the best, the top athlete in the Kansas City area. It's not just Wyandotte County. Right. It's not. This is the whole greater metropolitan Kansas City area. Mm-hmm. I remember that, and I remember, if I remember correctly, I did. I got a worksheet that got all this on it, but I'm just talking from memory right now. Right. Jerron Rush was the other. Yeah. Okay. At that time, I remember that. Yeah. I remember, that coming. Then the other thing I remember is at that time I was at Sumner, and you was at Wyandotte, and we both won state champion. So I remember you being a state championship senior year. But let's talk a little bit about. I had to bring that up, what I mean, because those are some of my biggest memories of it. Because two reasons: one, it wasn't really heard of people from our area from Wyandotte winning that award. I think the last one from somewhere close to us was Calvin Thompson. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That one that are even considered in it. Right. So that was a bit. That's a testament to how hard you work, what you did. And then the other thing is that's first time I don't even remember the last time that 2 Wyandotte County schools won state at the same time.
Right.
You know. So that's why that plays in my memory even today.
Right.
So let's talk about high school. You went to the Wyandotte High School.
Right. Yeah, I went to the only.
Yeah.
Wyandotte High School. And yeah, man, I had a great experience, man. It was first and foremost, man, I had great people around me. I had a heck of a high school coach. You know, all the credit. Like I tell people all the time, man, I was so lucky, not to discredit any coach that came before Coach Wayne VanDine. But for me, because we talking about me and my experience, it was a blessing. He took me up under his wing. He really, gave me opportunity to grow not only as a basketball player but as a person, and also I had an opportunity to play with who I feel is one of the most gifted players that ever played in Wyandotte history, and that's Nate Johnson. So, I had two great things working for me. Playing with Nate, and also, being coached by Wayne VanDine, that gave me an opportunity to really have a successful career. Just to have those two guys in my corner. Speaking on the Doreno Award, I always tell people that was 3 people won that award, and myself and Nate and Jerron, who won it for the 3rd time in a row because he won it his freshman, sophomore, junior. Yeah. Right, yeah. So I think it was his sophomore, junior. Then he won it with me his senior year.
Right.
And so I always tell people all the time, man, it was 3 people that won that award. He was as deserving as I was. I just happened to be the loud guy clapping and hitting the floor and creating a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. But Nate was a complete monster. Yeah. And my high school career, man, I couldn't have painted a better picture for it. I played, I was raised, and I would tell people when I got, nowadays a freshman come in high school, it's like if they're good or halfway good, they playing varsity. I was like, man, I walked in my freshman year, I just wanted to make the freshman team. Them dudes over there, they in their own gym. You know what I mean? Me and Nate over here like, hey, bro, we got to make the freshman squad, the A team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we just continue to work our way up, and, all those guys, set the platform for us, going forward. Coach started allowing us our freshman year at Christmas, he started allowing us to move up to JV and practice against all them, Carl Campbell, Kelly Newton, J.B. Moore, Jason Carruthers, all of them type guys. And rest in peace, Tristan Hullaby, all of those guys that we was having to play against, and it made us better. And so we reaped the reward our senior year of having those guys, man, beat us up for 3 or 4 straight years. And by the time we became seniors, we had a really good, cohesive team. Me and Nate was the leaders of the team. We had Chucky Allman, who was who transferred in from Sligo, was the piece that we needed. He was perfect. Yeah. I would tell talk to people about Chucky. Like, Chucky could have easily came in with an ego, like, yo, I know Nate and Vic taking shots, but I want to take more shots. Like, he could have came in, but he just just kind of fit in like a glove with us. And, we just had selfless guys. Willie Young, who was one of my best friends, played Oklahoma State football. He just was selfless. He didn't care if he had 2 points as long as he had 18 rebounds.
Man, he's a monster on the
he didn't care. We had Seth Ferguson. We had Macklin. We had Nick. We had so many pieces that were just selfless and allowed me and Nate to kind of lead the team, and they just fit in like a glove. So it was just kind of when you win at the level that we won that year, it's bigger than 1 or 2 people. It's bigger than one or two people. And, for that, man, I'm forever grateful, man, for that experience.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that, man, that you understand what a team means.
Yeah, for sure.
And I say this all the time. It's one thing I even tell my son this, the most important thing ain't the person who shoots the ball.
Oh, no, exactly.
So stop thinking that the person who shoots the ball is the most important on that team.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he got to get the ball some way.
Yeah, so much game within the game that's going on that if those things don't happen, then you don't never get the ball or you're not in position to score. So yeah, man, we had a great team coached by Wayne VanDine, and we had a good coaching staff, and it was a heck of an experience, man. I tell people all the time, I say, man, don't overlook them high school years trying to get to college. You know, I had a great college career, but, I remember vividly my high school career and the relationships that I had in my high school career. And, I'm still in great contact with Coach VanDine. He's like a father figure to me. So still to this day, he's, I see him all the time. He comes and sees my kids. And so it's relationships that, me and Nate, that's my brother. So those relationships is something that you just never gonna be able to replace. So, my opportunity at Wyandotte was what propelled my career.
Glad you said that, man. I got something special for you.
Okay.
All right, that I got to do. So let me get over here and get it together.
All right.
Coach VanDine, Coach V, man, is a wonderful person.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I'm going to just put this out here. A lot of people don't know. But Coach V gave me my first opportunity to coach basketball at the high school level.
Oh, man.
Coach Springs gave me my first opportunity to coach inside the school.
Right.
But when he allowed me to coach you all,
right.
Summer team,
yeah,
that was my first high school level, major high level coaching, basketball. I had been doing, I had Boo and was doing AAU, and they were younger grades.
Yep.
But he gave me my first, and I never let anyone understand how important he was and the important role that he played.
Right.
And not just allowing me to coach, showing me some things, but I say this, I use this still this day. He wasn't over my shoulder neither.
Right. No.
He was not over my shoulder or nothing. He's Moses. We talked a little bit about, and then he allowed me to be me and coach and go build the relationships with you guys, go and move. He allowed, so I love him for that to this day, man, because he helped build who I became.
Oh, no doubt.
And so I got something for you.
Okay.
Let me get to it. Technical difficulties. Let me get to something. So I reached out and I told Coach, I said, "Hey, Coach, I need a huge favor."
Right.
And he says, "Moses, anything you need, what is it?"
Right.
And I told him that you were coming here today, and that I had this with you. And I asked him, would he say something to you, because I know how special you are to him and he is to you. So this is what Coach put out for us.
When I speak of Victor Williams, it brings a smile to my face. I never coached a player with more drive or passion than he had. Every coach dreams of a player that won't let his team lose, irregardless of the situation. Victor was that guy for me. He was like a coach on the court, and he made his teammates better. He is like a son to me and my wife, and it is so rewarding to see the man, the husband, and the father that he has become.
I know I know it's a lot of emotions, man, but I had to do that because two things. I know what he means to you, but I know what you mean to him. You see what he got on.
Ah, for sure.
See what he repping.
Right.
Yeah. But I also had to do this, man, because a part of me wanted to make sure you understand how valuable you are to us in this community.
Appreciate
What you mean to a lot of us, man, and what you're doing and how you're affecting our community. A lot of people talk about the change, but a lot of people ain't being the change, man, and you are. So we listen to Coach, man, and I know I know you're emotional, but tell me, man, what do you think about that, man? What do you feel when Coach says those words, man?
I mean, I appreciate all that he said, but he it's deep. It's
I know it's deep.
Yeah, Coach. Man, we gonna make me cry. Man, I'm supposed to be tough out here, man.
Teddy Bear Vic. Teddy Bear Vic.
Teddy Bear.
See,
yeah.
this is where the teddy bear comes in. But I'm saying this too. I want you to know. This is the part of why this. I'm not crying. Didn't mean no cry. None of that. Right. But it was. I want our listeners, our kids to understand relationships.
Right.
And how it means and. Of the relationship that sports bring you,
right, and
also the relationships that you still have. That was in '98.
Oh, sure.
We talking about 2021,
right?
And he still loves you. You love him, and you still talk to him this day.
Right.
So that net, one of the biggest things that we do in the Jegna Klub,
right,
is relationship building and networking and teaching how to build a net.
Right.
And he's part of your network and has been part of your net. So that's why these things is coming up.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Coach VanDine, man. He's. He'll never take credit for this, but, he changed my life, man. He put me in position. Basketball was something I was passionate about, but schoolwork, and, he put pressure on me to become a good student, so I couldn't, achieve the things that I achieved. He pushed me every day. He was compassionate. He was father figure to me, man. I don't know. I know other way to describe it. Like he really was. Like he was, he was that guy, bro. Like he pushed me on the court, challenged me off the court. I always tell people about a time I said something in the paper, and it just kind of spoke to the man he was because. I wasn't, it was an opportunity for me to, give, reporter asked me about my experience with Coach VanDine. I'm like, oh, man, I'm glad he came, before my freshman year. And I wasn't by any means saying anything to, throw dirt on the coach before him. But the way it was quoted and the way it was read, it kind of read off that way. Mm-hmm. And he made me be a man, made me call him, apologize to him for what was said. And I grew a lot in that moment. I learned accountability. Sometimes you don't try to rub people the wrong way, but when you do, it's something to be said about that. And so I became a man in that situation. And so not just one incident, but, I'm emotional behind it just because, he just, my guy, bro.
Right. That's the guy. He means a lot to you.
Right.
Changed your life, like you said.
Changed my life. Right. So who I am, man, in a huge sense, has a lot to do with him. A lot. And he say he sacrificed so much from his own family, and his daughter's like my sister, and his wife is it's like a mother figure to me also, and so it's just a big family, man. I don't blood is blood for sure, but I got family outside of blood that's made a huge impact, and he's that guy for me. So yeah, man. I wish you would have warned me on that. I could have got all my teams out early.
Well, I apologize. Like it right. never meant to make it. But what I did want is I wanted it to be authentic, and
right.
I wanted you to understand.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see your reaction and understand. And I'm gonna say this. We adjusted today,
right.
So he had this to me, right. Before,
all right.
And he is so excited to see this and hear this, yeah. And to for you to know that he did this, that he's been texting me, saying, "You got me." So, man, he loves you, and so does Marianne.
Oh yeah.
They are excited for you and very happy, man.
Yeah. So
I got another one for you now.
Okay.
I got something else here for you.
All right. Oh, that's KB, my guy.
Got this coming up, man.
Ah, that's my dude, man.
We doing this for him, and I want you to say something to my guy, man. So we got Kelyn Block. I want to say a little something to you. He was a lady. He's like, I got to do this.
My dude, Vic Williams, grew up competing against each other, competing together. Ultimate competitor, great person. One of the best to ever do it out of the city. And my man still got his hands in the community, helping the new generation understand what it is to be a great person, a great basketball player. And love you, my dude.
Too, bro.
I knew I had to have this one because, you know, the respect that people have, even that they wasn't on your team, and the relationships that you have.
Yeah, Kelyn Brock is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
You know, he became a father before me, and he taught me a lot. Like, you know, he's one of the most, you know, I tell people about Kelyn, man, he's one of the most all-around best people that you can ever meet. Like, this dude just cut, just, you know, just, I mean, like he like a filet mignon. He just, like, you know, he's and he's one of my real good friends. Not one of my real good. He's one of my best friends, and you know, he's somebody I can call and talk to just about anything in any part of my life. You know, just seeing him with his family and watching him being a good family man. And he's doing, you know, what I'm doing in Kansas City. He's doing up in Indianapolis, and you know, he's my guy, man. So, you know, shout out, but I love you too, bro. You know that.
Yeah, man, he is a good guy, man.
Yeah. He don't get no better.
To be honest, from where he came from too, you wouldn't even believe where he comes. You know,
man.
Situation, a good guy, but it tests to, you know, how much people care about you, love you, man, and which I had to get this part out here too.
Right.
I wanted you to understand how much love you got, and for everybody to understand that too, and just, man, you're doing a lot, man. You give a lot to a lot of people. You mean a lot to a lot of people, and that's why I got to end with one more. I got one more for you. All right. Another one of my guys, man. I spoke to him. I said, man, I'm doing this for you, so I got to say something. So I got you.
Vic, what's up, bro? Just want to say thank you. Thank you for setting the blueprint for myself and other student athletes at Wyandotte High School. Thank you for all the hard work you do with the student athletes in the community all over the Kansas City, Missouri area. Just want to say thank you, bro. Continue to be great. Continue to do you. Continue to make people uncomfortable. Thank you for your hard work, bro. Love and respect.
That's another one. That's my guy, man. Like I told Boo, you know, it was almost like, you know, when he came in, I went off to college, and so it's like we you know, I never had a chance to really watch him play, but you know, he took he wore number 12 when he got there, and he just kept it moving like that, like 12. I always tell Nate, hey man, 10 dropped off, 12 never dropped off. 12 kept it pumping. You know what I'm saying? 10 kind of dropped off. Nobody know about 10, boy. That 12 still balling. So I always tell Nate that all the time. I was like, boy, nobody even hear about 10 no more. Hey, my number's still coming up in the paper.
Yeah.
Who got it? Yeah, but yeah, man, I'm just as proud of him as he is me, man. That's my guy. He got the juice. You know, it's all, you know, I tell people in teaching, you know, there's people that can really you can teach the game, but there's people that can move you through the game. You know what I'm saying? That can move you, like can pick your body up and move your energy to somewhere else, right? And Boo's one of those guys, man. When he's in the gym, you know he's in the gym. When somebody works out with Boo, they worked out with Boo. When somebody's been coached by Boo, you know that he's coached them. And if he's on any court in America, you know that he's on the court. So he's just one of those guys that's just gifted, man. He's been touched by God to be able to deliver energy to other people. He's very, very successful at what he do. And, you know, I watch him all the time, and I send him text messages throughout just to let him know I'm watching him and how proud I am of him. And he got his first head coaching job, you know, and
Northeast?
over in Northeast.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I get stories through. I got a mentor of mine named David Hayden, and he loves Boo just as much as he loves me, and Coach VanDine, they love him as much. And so, you know, they're over there with him and, you know, want to get that thing off the ground because, you know, if he got any advantage, if you give him an opportunity to be successful, he going to make it happen. So so I love you too, bro. You know that. Shout out, baby. You know that.
Good, man. I just I wanted you to know that what you said, Jabo did for you, that's what he believes in you as. He believe you was that person that. And so we talk all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's my guy. But he's like, man, yeah, Vic, that's why I was coming in. That's why I was trying to.
Right.
So you're that person. So
Right.
this was our opportunity, my opportunity, man, to kind of give you your flowers
Hey,
too.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That was unexpected, man. I love it though, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you a couple more things as we get to it.
Okay.
We'll get back in here and then we're gonna be wrapping up here in a little bit.
Okay.
But I got him getting a phone call. Let me call them back. This somebody else. They know you hear me and they calling. They want to tap in. So we talked about. I know what you said about things with high school. I'm gonna ask you one more question about high school, and then we're gonna move on to past high school.
Right.
I know what Coach VanDine. I know about the coaches.
Right.
Is there a teacher that influenced you, that had some type of influence on you, moving you to a college?
Man, Mr. Olin was a big influence for me. Mr. Delich. Mr.
Delich. That's one of my favorites. Man.
Yeah. Mr. Delich. I've had a lot of them, man. It's hard for me to just sit back, but the ones who challenged me to be a good student and gave me credibility and made me understand that I had that ability. A lot of times when you play sports, there's some things that can get swept under the rug for you just to be able to do what you do well. And I had some teachers at Wyandotte that I would say that pushed the envelope and said, hey, this is not going to I'm not going to allow you to fail in academics. I'm going to make sure that you understand that academics become before basketball. And, I got a college degree because of those teachers. They really set the bar for me. So once I got to college, I knew, how I had to program my life and my choices. And I had to move, basketball to the backseat and understand that academics was going to be first. So yeah, man, I had a few of them, man, for sure.
Good. I like that. So now we're moving from high school. I asked you that just because, again, about relationships and understanding, putting out there that it is a student athlete first.
Right.
That's why I asked you about the teacher part.
Right, for sure.
Just so they understand, our listeners understand that, basketball, it was a lot of basketball. That was the tool you used.
Right.
To further your life.
Right.
For success, but it was student first.
Right.
And that had to be right. Because, a lot of our younger listeners don't understand that you got to have a certain GPA.
Oh, yeah.
There's a score, a test score that you got to have, to be able to get into a college,
right.
Especially a NCAA college, and let alone it's even different for a student athlete to get a sports scholarship. You got to have certain things. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, just so they understand that academics did play a role, and that. You were taught that you had to understand about these academics first. Right. Yeah. And then also I had to get it out there. People think that, at Wyandotte, people just passing you through. No, they teaching you at Wyandotte. They're holding you accountable.
They holding you accountable.
Because I had Steve-O.
Yeah, it was like,
yeah.
Right. So yeah, see, and a lot of people don't realize with me, man, like I wasn't a very good student because I didn't get it early. So, so many people could kind of get it early. Mm-hmm. So it's like I look at it, I program and I process it, and I could take what I process and I could take it to the test, and I could do well on the test, Mm-hmm. So I became very discouraged because I didn't process it early, so I became discouraged. When basketball was different, when I didn't process it early, I'm gonna figure it out. Like I'm going back to the gym, 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 back to the gym. I'm gonna figure this thing out, right? School was one of those things where it's like, because I wasn't as gifted, I gave up on it. And if teachers allowed me to do that, then that's what I did, right? But because I struggled with my ACT, and I'm not ashamed to say that, but I did. It took for me to really understand my strength as a student and really understand that I can do it, right? Because I would walk into an ACT and just be defeated before I got there. like literally be defeated, like playing guessing games, C, go over B, and just getting through it, right? And then the time that I passed it, I walked in there and I felt, okay, I'm ready. Had a mentor of mine named David Hayden, and he would not let me fail. Like, he would pick me up. I'd be trying to hide from me. I'd be over Nate's house. Like, man, if Dave pull up, don't tell him I'm in there. Dave be knocking on the door. Boom, we got to go to tutor. We got to, and he just willed me to making sure that I was where I needed to be. I built my confidence in the classroom. And then once my confidence became in the classroom, I went into the ACT with a confident attitude, and I approached it the right way, and I ended up passing it because I approached it the right way. So I say that to say this, with kids, it's all about how you approach it. You know what I mean? If you believe that you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it, right? And just because something is not as gifted to you doesn't mean that you're not capable. You know what I mean? It's a continuous effort that's going to allow you to overcome it, right? And I think that that's one of the things that I'm most proud of is that, basketball, my competitive spirit allowed me to continue to pick up the basketball, to do something extra. But school's easy for me to say, I'm not reading that book. I'm not studying for that test. I don't know how to do it. And I became a really good, I wouldn't say really good student, but I became a pretty good student in college, and ultimately I earned a college degree.
Great. So let's talk about college. We moved into college. We left high school. And as you leave high school, very good career. I got to say this because I remember this. Even though we were separated, we checking the papers.
Right.
We down there in Solana, we checking the papers, see what y'all doing.
Right.
See how it's going. And all I know is we down there and we get word, and Wyandotte going to overtime.
Right.
It's like overtime. What?
Right.
It's like no. And then we hear that you pulled that. Y'all pulled it out.
Right.
In that overtime, and you had like 34 something that night.
Right.
Yeah. So you pulled it out.
Yeah.
And then we turned around and you just the run. It was just run. You ended up becoming MVP of the tournament,
right?
Because the last run, all I remember is just the story about them threes, the long, the rainbow threes hitting, and you had a wonderful tournament.
Right.
So you played very good, and now you're going to college.
Right.
So your freshman year, you were at Illinois State.
Illinois State.
Why did you choose Illinois State?
I chose Illinois State from a loyalty standpoint. Coach Kevin Stallings was a heck of a Coach King Rice, who was the assistant at the time, was a really loyal. You know what I mean? They was recruiting me. I was having trouble passing my ACT. A lot of schools left. A lot of schools that was recruiting me kind of said, he's not going to pass it. They stuck with me. They even had a plan for me in case I didn't pass it, which was the Prop 48. In the Prop 48, you lose a scholarship, so I couldn't have played. But it allowed me to go to school, which got me out of this inner city, and I had to sit out. I would just have to go to school, and if I graduated in 4 years, I get the extra year back on the backside. So it's actually a plan that they were willing to, the risk that they was willing to take for me. Once I passed it, I had schools kind of coming back. My mom, Coach VanDine, everybody that was helping me make the decision, are real good, loyal people, and they was all for Illinois State just because of their ability to just stick by me and want me. So, I decided to go there.
Okay, so you're there, man. You had a good freshman year,
right?
You even were named the freshman of the MVC.
Yep.
MVC. So, of people who don't know, tell us what MVC is.
It's the Missouri Valley Conference.
Missouri Valley Conference.
Yep.
So you went to a Division I school freshman year. Great freshman season. But then you what happened? I don't want to tell the story. What happened?
So what happened was I had a good freshman year and had a lot of success in that freshman year, and I always got that competitive edge when playing at the highest level. I remember calling Coach VanDine, and I think it's all competitive people want more, right? We want to see ourselves at this highest level. And And Coach VanDine was, you know, he's like, my mom, hey, you need to stay at Illinois State. Everything's going well. You know, everything's going good. You got a chance to have a good career. So I was pretty sold on that. You know, a couple of people that I trusted, you know, David Hayden, again, was a part of that. But what happened was Coach Stallings, who was my head coach, who recruited me heavy, ended up taking a job at Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? Okay. And so now I'm like, okay, well, all the loyalty left at this point. Like I don't feel like I'm here because of loyalty, right? Yeah. So, you know, my mom, like you said, she raised me in fear, right? So no, you're not going anywhere. You stay there. I'm like, Mom, transfer. You ain't coming home. She knew I had an opportunity at this school. They love me. You stay there. So actually a risk. My mom talk about this all the time. Actually a risk I had to do on my own. You know, Coach VanDine supported it. So it's, he wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. You know, same thing with same thing with Dave. They wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I did it. But again, it goes back to that confidence thing, to where it's like, man, I'm sure of myself. I can do this. And once I got into the transfer portal, you know, everybody became supportive, and we decided to go to Oklahoma State.
Okay, what made that choice? Why Oklahoma State?
So Dave takes me down to Stillwater. We drive to Stillwater, and we walk in, and in the first, meet Coach Sutton. I mean, it's a legend. Like, Coach Sutton's a legend. Like, you play for a guy like Coach Sutton, it opens up so many doors for you. And I never forget, we walk up to the office, and he just shows me, all he did is turn on a VCR at the time. I'm showing my age a little bit, right? So he puts the VCR in, puts on a game tape, and it was the most chaotic basketball environment I ever seen. It was like being in Allen Fieldhouse or something, like, if you can imagine. And so I seen that, and I just visualized myself being in that situation. And they had a senior-led team, so when you transfer, you got to sit out a year, right? So they had a senior-led team. Doug Gottlieb was the point guard who led the country in assists 2 years in a row. And he was a senior. The year I had to sit out, he was a senior, so I know he was leaving. You know, they had Desmond Mason, who was a pro. They had a Brian Minotti. They had all these Joe Atkins. They had all this talent that was there. And it was an opportunity that I was like, man, I'm leveling up in play, right? So it's an opportunity for me to play against a senior-led team in practice, get beat up on, just kind of like I did when I was in high school, get beat up on. Mm-hmm. And then the next year, I have 3 years for it to be my show, and ultimately that's what happened. So
getting that call back.
So that was good.
Okay. What's going on?
How y'all doing?
We're doing all right. Let me let him see who this is.
What up, man? What's up? What's going on, man? How you doing, Famo? Good to see you, fam. Love you, bro. Been chopping it up, man. A lot of good conversation, man. Bringing back some old memories.
Yes, sir, man.
So
got a question for you, though.
Okay.
How you feel about the current state of that USD 500 basketball?
I can't believe how bad it's gotten, and I want to figure out a way to where we can get it back to where it used to be.
Just in case they didn't hear that question, he asked what he feels about the current state of USD 500 basketball.
Right.
And this is my guy. This is our guy Wazell.
For sure. One of the best athletes I've ever been around.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. For
sure. One of the best athletes, high-level athletes I've ever been around. Zell. I just think that it's at a state. I think the faculty and everybody that's involved that done got disinterested, and I think that it's at a state of emergency right now. to be quite frank with you, I think that we're gonna have to make some major changes to kind of get it back and kind of bring some history back to it, and getting kids around here motivated, by bringing guys like yourself, me, other people around to where we can motivate kids to do some great things. But yeah, I think it's at a state of emergency, to answer your question.
I'm along the same lines with you. I'm along those same lines.
we had the talent there. We
No
had
doubt.
the talent, man. We had the talent.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it, man.
Yeah. I don't know if he knew. You knew he was gonna call in today.
Nah, I didn't know he was calling.
Yeah, I told him, man. I said, man, I got to tell him I had some surprises for him, man. You know, and we had a couple surprises in there on him for him. I wish you could have seen. You'll see it, you know, we hit the replay. Yeah. You know, I really got surprised on him today, man.
Yeah, I tell people about Zell all the time. Zell, I tell people about you all the time. I say Zell play basketball and every other sport throughout the whole summer. Come back and win state on everybody. On the wrestler. I'm like, but I ain't seen him practice one time. He got guys wrestling all year round, bro. You know, like seriously, like he the only guy the whole gym will be packed to watch him wrestle. Like the whole gym. Yeah. And he be playing basketball and football during the off season.
I ain't practiced one wrestling move and win state.
I'm telling you. I ain't practiced one to get out there and win state. I'm like, how you do that? I'm telling you.
Oh, man. We appreciate you calling on in, man.
I love you, famo. About what?
He said somebody told you about your baseball career. I'm gonna let you up. He gonna get you. I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, I think my baseball lasted until the wintertime. I mean, I think I did, man. They got you out there in the outfield, man. They won't let you leave, man. So I had to take care of some. Exactly. Exactly. I had to figure it out. Exactly. Well, I love you, bro. I no doubt about it, man. Let's link up soon.
Yes, sir. Stay solid.
You too, bro. I love you. Love.
He was gonna get a picture, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. This is just a testament to who you are, man, and what you mean. Because you know, when we share a lot of people, but when I'm letting them know, I send out things. You know, I got some people. I ask people for questions. You know, I do all this stuff. You know, but when I start telling people you coming, people start not just the question. They're like, man, I'm gonna tap in.
Okay.
Yeah, man, let me call in. Yo, man, let me tell him. Let me show. Man, you mean a lot to a lot of people, man. We gotta give you flowers for real. Like you mean a lot to a lot of people around here, man. You got a lot of relationships here. Yeah. You know, I got to say this, and we're gonna get back to our interview. Okay. You know, it's only been one time that I was disappointed, and I heard somebody speaking about you.
Right.
You know, I was disappointed. I don't get into a whole lot of things. I don't say too much of nothing. You know me. I'm just kind of to myself.
Right.
But I ain't like what this person said. Right. You know, and I said, hold up, man. You know, we just talking about, he don't do nothing for the community. He's all out there with the white people and move. I said, hold up, man. Whoa. Nah, I ain't gonna let you get that off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
First of all, you can't knock what no man is doing.
Right.
That you can't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the second of all is, you saying that because that's where the gym is?
Right.
Because he got I don't know how many athletes from right in these schools, that go out there. Right. I can name 7 athletes that's playing at the highest level in Wyandotte County right now that play for him.
Right. I think when people become negative about things, and I'm very open to opinions. I think that's how you learn. You got to allow people to have opinions, even if it's an opinion you don't agree with. Yeah. I think that's how you learn, you know? So, I wouldn't change their opinion, but I would like for them to have the facts. And the facts are, I started my program at Bethany. And I started, I am what I am because of Mr. Watson allowing me to build my program in Bethany. So when I started my program, I started it at Overland Park, okay? This is a fact. Started with Overland Park. I had all white kids from suburban America, right? Mm-hmm. I had a sponsor named Sam Freitag, who was still a big mentor of mine. So he asked me to coach a basketball team. So Mr. Freitag was paying me money to coach a team. So I'm coaching this team, and we having some success, and we doing some things, and we winning some games, and we beating a couple teams that they're not used to winning against. So in Overland Park, I was the guy at this particular time. This is the first one I got into coaching. And everybody wanted to go. But I looked around, and I said, damn, Vic, you're doing a great job, but there's no inner city people that's involved in this program. Victorious Cowboys, right? Had my name on it and everything.
I remember that.
So I went to Mr. Freitag. I said, Mr. Freitag, I said, can I meet with you? Met with him at J. Alexander. I said, I love what I'm doing. I appreciate the opportunity that was given to me, right? Appreciate this opportunity. But, because he was helping sponsor the team. I said, I want to do a better job in getting back into the inner city, add more inner city guys, mixed with, suburban guys, because I believe it has an effect on kids.
Yeah.
What helped me coming from the inner city was this, I was able to kind of get out of the inner city, see suburban areas, and be like, man, damn, this is kind of how I want to live. This is what motivated me, right?
Yeah.
Different relationships. Kids from the inner city, kids from the suburbs don't understand the value of the toughness and the mental toughness that these kids are going through here. They don't have it. They don't have mom and pops doing everything for them. They gotta, and so it kind of rubs together. And so anyway, long story short, I asked Mr. Freitag. He said, Vic, you go get it. You can start any program you want, right? And he said, I'm gonna get behind you and I'm gonna support it, which he did. But if you think about it, I built this program on finances in Overland Park. When I say finances, major finances. I had a nice spot in the middle of OP. I had the newest, Chrysler 300 when they first dropped. That's car payments, apartment. I was living good. I sacrificed all that, man, because you got to think about it. When you add Ishmael Wainwright, and you add Maurice, and you add Broderick Newbell, and you add Benny Parker, and you add all these high-level guys, that's not enough playing time for everybody. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose a lot of finances that was going to you at the time, right? That's the story that people don't understand. I could have just stayed there and built it and been living in and just be in that circle only. Right. But what I did was I figured out a way through Mr. Freitag's help was to merge the communities together, which gave a lot of opportunity to a lot of kids in the inner city. So what I wanted to do was, because we was practicing all the way out in Overland Park. I said, okay, I want the inner city to be my foundation. I want that to be where we practice at. I want Overland Park kids to drive down to the inner city to practice. So I called Mr. Watson and said, Mr. Watson, we need 2 practice days. Not that we couldn't afford to practice in Overland Park. He gave me 2 or 3 practice days that we had. Practiced about 7 years in Bethany. And that's where my program was built at its core, in the inner city. And I made a decision to do that. That didn't have to be. I didn't get forced in that lane. Right. I made a decision to do it. So a lot of people tell stories because they see where my gym is at right today. And no kid can ever say, yo, I walked in Vic's gym. No kid can ever say that. Walked into a practice and he said something about finances and I couldn't afford it. And then he said, that's your problem. Never. Any kid that ever walked into my gym that couldn't afford it stayed in my gym. Any kid. You can't bring one kid in the last 14, 15 years that I've been doing this to say, yeah, I couldn't do it because I couldn't afford it. Now, if you get on my website or if somebody tells you about my prices and you assume, then I have no control over that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have no control over that, right? Right. I can't control and change who I am and who I am as a businessman to make you feel comfortable to come in my gym or to have an open conversation. I think that's unfair to me, Yeah. But there's never a conversation that's ever been had that said there was a financial situation that I didn't make work. Right. So when people say that, I get it, I understand it, there's a better job that I have to do, because it's all about accountability. In the last 5, 6 years, I haven't been doing a good job of putting my face here, right? Mm-hmm. I have kids that's coming from here, coming in my gym, but my face is not here. You make so much more things happen when they see your face. They can touch you, they can feel you, they hear your voice, right? Mm-hmm. I've done a terrible job in the last 5 or 6, and I'm ashamed of that. I'll be a man to say that. Like I need to do a better job in that. And so that's a conversation that I want to do a better job going forward in putting my face here. I thought when I first got into it, I was hungry. I wanted to really strive to get kids in the program that was from my community. It was so I was bad. I was there every ask me somebody, he'll tell you I was there Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, the days of the game. I was there every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And we built a program that was nationally powered. Earl Watson was sponsoring us. Shout out to him. Brandon Rush sponsoring us. Shout out to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Mr. Freitag, shout out to him, sponsoring us. So, like, we built a program in the inner city. I think over the last 5 or 6 years, I've neglected that hunger that was burning inside of me that's still there, but you find reasons and excuses and reasons that sounds like excuses to not do it, and I got to do a better job of that. So to his point, whoever that guy was, I agree with him, but I disagree with him at the same time.
I like that. I like that you look at things, and you're right. People are, entitled to their opinion.
Right.
But I don't like, opinions that are not fact-based.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I had to speak up.
I'm glad you did, because a lot of people, assume things without information, and I think we all guilty of that. Yeah. We have the ability sometimes to assume things without information, but I think it's sometimes you gotta just allow yourself to hear the facts before you come up with your own opinion. And but like I said, he's not all the way wrong. I teach my kids to be accountable. Look yourself in the mirror, figure out ways you can do better. And if I had to give myself a grade on what I've done in the last 6 years in my community, it wouldn't be very pleasant. It's not something that I'm comfortable with. Not something I'm comfortable with. So
I understand, but this conversation was before 6 years. It was in the last 6 years. This was before when I knew you was having practice. At Bethany and who.
I think this it's then and now and continuing in the future. Yeah. I want to do a better job going forward, man. I really do. I've talked to my wife about it. I just got to do a better job. My kid's not gonna grow up like I grew up, but I want him to have the understanding of the people that grew up just like him, and be in this environment and enjoy this environment, and have birthdays and friends and things like that, because this environment was good to me, man. Like, it was I don't have a negative thing to say about Wyandotte County. It made me who I am. So I want to do a better job in the future, fam, to put my face here.
Good. Well, you're always right. Yeah, right. Being visible is always
right.
The key, and that's part of it. So we kind of moved into discussing, your career and business. I just want to touch real quick back on, because we went to why you made the change from Illinois State to Oklahoma State. We got to why. We got to where you had to sit out that red shirt year. Right. Playing behind. I don't remember his last name. I know his first name was Doug. Right. I just don't remember the last
Golly.
name. Okay, they're playing behind him, and that was led and assist. Right. So now we get into which, because you set out, it's still entitled your sophomore year.
Right.
Sophomore year you play, and I'm gonna run through just a few things. Right. Then I'm gonna ask you a question or two, because I want them to understand the type of career you had. Right. Big 12, all newcomer team. Right. As a sophomore. And then we moved to you being a junior, your honorable mention all Big 12. Right. By both the Big 12 conference coaches and the Associated Press. People don't understand that's about two different things. Right. It's the coaches that you going against every night. Right. When you going against them, these coaches are saying, yo,
That's the guy, right?
That
right.
guy here,
Right.
we scouting reports and saying,
right.
yeah, we got to get on him, this and that.
Right.
And then the Associated Press. These are people, the press who's coming to the games. So by both, a great, accomplishment. And then in senior season, now you in the second team.
Right.
All Big 12 by the coaches and again by the Associated Press.
Right.
And then you were named second team All District 12 by the National Association of Basketball Coaches.
Right.
And then just had several different things. I think that year too, your career high came.
Right.
And some other things. So great career. What I got to ask you is this, and I got to start it off with a story.
Right.
So I tell this story all the time. I don't even know if you remember this.
Right.
You come back from you're back one summer, from college.
Right.
And I don't remember if I want to say it's the junior year, but I don't remember that part. But I know you back. You've played. I know you've been playing.
Right.
And we're talking, and I'm asking you because I'm young coach, and I'm trying to get to him, and I'm asking you like, hey, and I'm asking you about Coach Sutton, like, man, what's he like practice different things? And the one thing that you told me, you was like, yeah, Coach Sutton said, you talking about practice, like he said that he couldn't get on the guy unless he taught it to him himself.
Right.
You remember that?
Right.
Okay. And I don't even remember. I tell the story, but I don't remember exactly how you told it, but I remember how I took it.
Right.
And you told me he was something about getting on somebody. The way I got the story is he was getting on somebody and stopped. Right. And then started teaching.
Right.
And then said, yo, I can't never get on you if I haven't taught. I can't just assume.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Sutton. I mean, I don't remember the conversation per se, but
I
mean, I understand it. Like, he was a master communicator. He drove you mentally. Like you just, if you was mentally weak, you just was the wrong spot. Like, like he drove you, up out of the door too. Like if you had some mental weakness to you. So, he's a master communicator. He tested me in every way. Mentally. He had a relationship with my mother that was, if Vic call you, say he coming home, don't answer. You know what I'm saying? So I call my mom and be like, hey, man, I'm done with this. I'm about to leave. She be like, I don't know where you going. You ain't coming home. Like, you can't, So she was in cahoots with Cameron. Our Coach Sutton was like that. Like, you ain't coming home. And so I needed that. But he was a master community man. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. He's won, over 800 games. He's one of those guys that can challenge you and make you better, not only as a basketball player, but as a man. Like I became a man at Oklahoma State, like just because the way he challenged me. Didn't necessarily like him all the time when I was around him, but the respect I have for him is endless, man. Like I just got a lot of respect for him. He's given me so many opportunities and made me who I am as a person. So, Coach Sutton was a beast.
I like that. So I like that our listeners are hearing you say, the fact that you said you respect him, how much respect you had. You didn't like him all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's something I say all the time. You don't have to like everybody. You don't have to like your bosses all the time.
Yeah.
What you do have to do is respect them.
Right.
And you still have to do what you're there for.
Right. Exactly.
So I love that. I don't want to get too more emotional.
Right.
But I do want them to know a little bit about sad time in college.
Right.
For you. So you don't got to go through the whole situation, the story or nothing. But I just want them to know, because my question is, and it was a plane crash.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, how did you mentally get through that? Or how do you physically? Because I know it was both, but how did you get through that?
And when you go through that type of tragedy, you never mentally get over that. I mean, that, physically, mentally, I mean, that just affects, that just kind of turn you into a new person, like, and you just got to be able to deal with that. Like, you deal with that emotion. I mean, I deal with that all the time. Like I said, it was a plane crash, and, it was something that I was getting on a plane, and, I got 10 members. I mean, you got to think about how a basketball team works. You see them every day. Like, during the season, we see each other every day. Staff, players, we see each other every day. And you always have an assumption that I'm gonna see you tomorrow. You know, we live our life like that sometimes, and I just assumed that I was gonna see them same 10 guys that was on that plane and hearing a little bit. We was actually planning a party. Played terrible. We had a party that I was already playing, and we just like, we see you when we get back, and at sad time, I get home and my phone start ringing over and over and over and over and over again, and it was Coach VanDine called me, and I pick up the phone like, you know, I don't want to talk to nobody. I think I was played terrible that game, and answered the phone, and he just was like, oh, okay. Kind of took this sigh of relief, like, because he seen it on the ticker that you know, plane crash, came back from Colorado. I was like, oh no, Coach, we good, we on. Took 3 different planes, one prop plane, 2 jets. The prop plane went down. The story is we all rode on that prop plane all the time because we actually rode on that prop plane because that was kind of our way of getting away from the coaching staff on the way back. You know, especially if we played bad, we don't want to hear that hear it on the way back. So we rode up there, and Denver Holmes, Denver was the one that, not Denver Holmes, but Denver was the one that was driving the plane, and he used to let us kind of look over the thing, you know. But long story short, man, it's one of those situations that, like I said, I never got over. I've learned how to tell people I love them in that moment. You know, I mean, I got a lot of friends, a lot of people that know me will know I'll never leave you without telling you I love you. And that's where it started. You know, I would never leave you. You can never come to me and we see each other in passing, or we on the phone, or, you know, people that's going to watch this, they know, like, they're going to be like, yeah, he right. Because, like, you know, and I teach everybody around me how to tell people that they love them. You know, we struggling at it, especially in our community, on giving people their flowers while they're living. And I learned in that moment, man, you got to tell people what they mean to you. You know, tell people how much they love you, you know, and tell them how much you love them. And in that moment, man, I that's what I learned, you know. So, you know, that was a very tragic situation. And it was something that, like I said, I would never get over fully. But, you know, if there's any kind of positive that I feel like it made me just really start to value each and every day, each and every moment that you have, and for you to tell the people around you how you feel about them, man. So I became more emotional and, you know, more emotionally attached to everything that I was doing, because I just wanted, you know, people to feel me. So if one day that, you know, God was to happen to take either one of us, that we'll be able, like, man, our last conversation, he told me he loved me. That last conversation, I told him I loved him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In that situation, I lived with a lot of regret because it was an assumption. I just assumed that I was going to see him. I'll see you next week. I'll see you in about an hour. Yeah. You know, and that's something I learned, man. So I grew up a lot in that situation.
Okay. Well, let's move past college. You know, I wanted to get that out, you know.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And it's not only just so tell your story of who you are and why you are some of the ways, but also so I understand, man, that tragedy happens.
Oh, no doubt
Obstacles happen. And like you said, you didn't never get over it.
Never, yeah.
But you're still on your 2 feet and you still thrive and you're still succeeding,
right,
because you learn how to deal with it.
You learn how to deal with it.
There are some things, you know, that happen that way, and death is a hard thing to get over.
It's a hard thing to get over, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I don't think you never really get over it.
No, you never get over, right.
You know what I mean? But I do think you learn how to continue to move, because
right.
one of the most important things in life, and you preach this and you said it, you know what I mean, is you know, being able to deal with it.
Right, real. Yeah.
You still got to deal with adversity. You still got to get up. Same thing in the game. You
right.
know,
Gotta
you turned the ball over.
Yeah.
Things happen. You missed the shot. You still got to continue to go.
Right.
And I like how you said it before. You know, is not getting too high, getting too low.
Right.
You got to learn how to stay in the middle. How to be there. And I think that's with life.
That's
and I think you mastered that. You've been good at that, and then getting it out.
Appreciate you saying that.
Couple more questions. I'm gonna get you out of here, man, because I could talk to you for days.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
we might even have to have a B.
Right.
We might have to bring you back for a B episode.
I was telling my wife, we was on our way back from Florida. I said, because I had it on my calendar and it marked from 4 to 7. And I said, hey, it's gonna be 3 hours, babe. It's gonna be a long time. But now it's like, man, shoot, we could go another couple hours. I'm like, okay, we like covered a lot. You know, you see when you get in these conversations, like, man, I can go on and on.
Man,
but yeah, we was
like
on our way back, and she was like, 3 hours? What can y'all talk about for 3 hours? I said, I don't know. But hey, it's a lot to cover.
It's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you, man. Please tell her that I appreciate her.
You know, sure.
And the boys, appreciate it. Because I know we taking time from them, but
no doubt.
I really appreciate it, and I really believe, man. I believe in you. I love you. I've always supported you. Everything. I've been one of your biggest fans. I can't say the biggest because Moms and Michelle, they ain't gonna let me get that out.
Right.
But I've been one of your biggest fans. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I appreciate that.
Always.
Vice versa, man. I appreciate that. I'm proud of you.
And I appreciate them, man. Please let them know that we said we appreciate the time that you spent away from them with us today.
No doubt about it. I appreciate it.
So we talked, about why you started the VWBA. Why you started, when you started, and I think it was about like 2005, right, when you started that. Okay. So it's been going since 2005, and it's been growing,
right,
and moving. And one of the things, next thing I want to do is, we can't name all of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do want to just mention a few names, just that I remember, and some things which because you have touched a lot of athletes around here. Some of the names that come from me is Benny Parker, went to Nebraska. Kevin Robinson went to Omaha.
Right.
I can't think of the guy. His name's not coming to. He went to UTEP, but he was from Grandview.
Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yep.
Jordan. And then the two guys that went to Loyola.
Yep, Clayton Custer and Ben Richardson.
Okay. And then Tez.
Yeah, Martez
went to UMKC. And I can't forget my guy that said UCLA, Cody.
Cody Riley.
Yeah, we went there. Yeah. We already talked about Wayne, right? Yes. Went to Baylor. And we just touched on him.
Yeah.
What even to me also that hit me when, because I'm looking back and I'm thinking about some of these guys that came, and I remember I couldn't think of his name. And I kept saying, man, I can't find him. Right. And I've been looking for him for a couple of years.
Right.
And I'm like, man, why I can't find this guy?
Right.
And I couldn't remember his name.
Right.
The only thing because we at Sumner we played him in the summer league game down in Warrensburg.
Okay.
We was down there for team camp, and we played him because he played at Park Hill.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I can't find this guy guard. Playing. I'm like, why I don't see him in no basketball nowhere.
Right.
But that's because he playing football.
Right.
Yeah, he played football and I just figured that out. He plays football at Michigan. Is that where he went?
Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell. Yeah. I'm like, man, but I couldn't remember his name. But I kept looking for him. I'm like, man, this cat was nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but he played football. And then the other guy that played football for you, or not played basketball for you, but he plays football at Clemson.
Yeah, Mario Goodrich. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't know his name.
Yeah.
All right. But then there's also some girls.
Oh, yeah.
That you played and that play high level. I know it's the two sisters.
Yeah.
That's at Washington University. I don't know their names, but I know it's two sisters.
Yep.
Keene or something like that.
Yep. Alexander and Grace Keene.
Okay. And then the girl that said, I thought I was going to remember. Dunn. That's all I can remember.
Oh, Alicia Dunn,
but she's at, I can't remember where.
Yeah, she went to Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, okay.
Yeah.
So, a lot, man. I'm just saying that because, I wanted to put it out there. I didn't want you to put it out there.
Yeah.
I wanted to put it out there.
I appreciate that.
How many that you've touched and where they went. Now, all these we name, and there's more. Yeah. There's a whole lot more because there's the guy at Colorado State.
Right.
It's more.
Right.
But I just wanted to mention a few names because all of them is the Division I schools that have come through the Vic Williams basketball academy.
Right.
Division I school athletes.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of them, man. I've been a part of a lot of success, man. You know what I mean? I always say be a part of. I'm humbled that I've had the opportunity to coach a lot of those kids, man, and at all levels, man, and some just very good high school players. You know what I mean? They become good businessmen and become just hardworking people. You know what I mean? Just because they value the mental toughness that that came in through my gym. And I always tell people, I said, interviews that I have about, people that I've coached, and it's like, oh man, and I always say, man, I never give myself, credit for anybody's success, because it's, I'm only a part of it. I'm only an accessory to what you're doing. I'm gonna help me in the sense of you. I don't want to give myself credit, but I want to be a reason you don't fail. You know what I mean? And I want to take pride in being the reason you don't fail. And it's because failing a lot of times is giving up, right? Not in trying, it's in giving up. And so the mental toughness and what I'm asking you to do and the strain that it put on you mentally and how I'm getting you outside of your comfort zone, you start to really build this core that don't allow you to give up, right? And so when I see guys, become good family man, you know what I mean? Go to college and become successful in college. And, that does a lot for me, because, that's, you're only going to play a basketball a small percentage of your life. You know what I mean? But what kind of man, what kind of woman, what kind of person are you to be able to handle some adversity and not give up? That's structured by individuals that put that type of pressure on you to build that core, right? And I want to be a part of that. Like, that's what I want to be a part of. The success stuff, that happens, that comes and goes. That's one of those things where, some guys are more gifted than others. Some Ishmael got a 7'5" wingspan. Like, that don't mean he working a lot harder than a guy with his 5'8" with no wingspan.
Right.
They probably working just as hard as each other. But where I come in is they both got the mentality not to quit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They both got the mentality not to quit. And if I could put all my marbles on that, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Right? Because people judge, Ishmael this, so that means, or Benny Parker's this, and such and such is this. That creates your legacy, not for me. It doesn't create my legacy. Those guys are those guys. Okay. But when it comes to their ability to say, hey, man, I'm going through some adversity, Benny Parker, right? The Renner Award winner, football success, had everything going for him. You know what I mean? Went to college, had success at college. After college, the phone didn't ring, right? He didn't harp on the fact that the phone didn't ring, and that he didn't get to, he said, hey, look, I had a heck of a career. Now it's time for me to go in the real world, raise a family. He just called me the other day and told me about to have a son.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
nice. Okay.
Like them were the type of things. Okay, now you about to be a father. I'm one of the first people he thought about calling me. You know what I mean? And he's down in Houston working hard and making a great living. Like that's what brings me joy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So and I think that's a lot of times when people, they don't understand. With me, man, I want them to be successful. I'm happy for them. That brings the biggest smile, on my face. But the reward that I kind of hold on to the most, he ain't no punk. She ain't no punk.
Right.
She ain't gonna never quit.
Never surrender.
She never gonna surrender. There you go. Well, that's why I loved it. I loved it. She's never gonna surrender. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never. Like that's what I hang my hat on. And if I get that, man, then I've done what I was called to do. You know what I mean? And so that's what I get my biggest joy out of, man. I tell my kids all the time, man, like you ain't gonna put me on. Don't think you gonna become this NBA player and I'm gonna become successful. That ain't what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just the guy when you play 4 years in the NBA and they cut you on the fifth one, I want you to remember the toughness. That's when I come in. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or the adversity that you gotta have and you being a father and you doing that, man, that's where I want to come in. I want you to say, man, being in Vic's gym made me tougher. It made me more competitive. You know what I mean? It made me a better person in life. And if you could say that, that's what makes me really feel good in doing what I'm doing, fam. So I appreciate the names. A lot of people, bring the names up and things like that. And I'm as happy, for all of those guys. I got guys coming up that's younger right now that's doing great things. Mm-hmm. And I want them to have all the success for their families and themselves. Mm-hmm. But I just want to make sure that they competitors at heart in life. So So that's what I'm enjoying about it, fam. For sure.
See, that never surrender came. You know that came from your high school.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was your
for sure,
thing.
for sure.
But it's also how I see you live your life.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
also what I thought. All these people that I named,
Yeah.
they all, to me, didn't surrender. They all
never
kept
surrendered,
going.
right.
Never,
They never-
all of them.
they never
I think it was a testament when you seen the run that your two guys made and Loyola.
Yeah,
they
right,
weren't.
yeah.
They wouldn't surrender at all. They played.
That's the thing about it. Ben Richardson, if you look at Ben Richardson, I had him since he was in the 4th grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ben Richardson didn't get his first Division I offer until he was a senior in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
His mom and dad didn't know if he was going to even play at the next level, right?
Yeah.
So mentally tough. You ask people about who Ben Richardson is, they'll tell you one of the toughest competitive dudes I know. Right? Clayton Custer went to Iowa State, had a stellar high school career, right? Went to Iowa State, was playing behind a pro, Monte Morris, right? Decided to make a move, went there, Final Four. Never surrendered. Like, you know what I mean? So those, like, to watch that run it wasn't about, like, all the lights and the glamour. That don't mean nothing to me. I was in those lights before.
Yeah.
The toughness that it took to get there.
And the toughness
is where I
it's
hang
gonna
my
take
hat on.
when the lights go out.
Exactly. When the lights go out.
Yeah.
That's when I want to be, all right, hey, Vic, what we doing now? Call me then.
Yeah.
Let's rap then. Like, when the lights on, everybody want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
People come out the real work, they want to jump rope around you. Like, let them have it. I'm cool on that.
Yeah.
When the lights go off and it's gloomy, holla at me. That's what I want to be. I want to be a part of that show.
Yeah.
That's who I am as a person. So yeah, man, I get my biggest pleasure in watching them overcome than watch them, have the lights. that just be. I guess that's just who. And I think you know that about me as a person.
I do.
Right. So
that's good, man. We gonna call in because we can go for days. I'm telling you. I know we can. And you touched on. I had 2 questions. You touched on. You already told me what you want your legacy to be.
Right.
Is never. They ain't surrendering. They tough. They mental toughness.
Tough.
That's what you want. When you come across Vic Williams,
right,
you became mentally tough.
And
you know how to live. I love that. I think, and honestly, I think that's you. Like that's your personality. That's you. That's what you are. And so that's one thing I've always admired about you. Like,
I appreciate that, man.
So my last question, I end every show this way.
Right.
And I got to put this disclaimer out there again.
Right.
I want to reserve the right to bring you back because we still got some things we didn't get
absolutely,
out.
Absolutely.
So, we get down the road another time. I want to bring you back because I think it's another part that we can touch on too.
Right.
That I would like to touch on.
Right.
That our students and families and parents need to know because we didn't really get to talk about, your family life and the kids as much. So I'd like to get into that too because I think that also has to do with
for sure.
With that too. So last question that I ask every episode. We're sitting at the Super Bowl. We get tickets to Super Bowl. We watching it, and I'm just gonna put our Chiefs in there. At the Super Bowl, we watching, and we getting ready to go have that. We at halftime, and they pull a ticket and say, Vic Williams, you have just won a 60-second commercial at halftime. Mm-hmm. Now you can't sell it. Commercials at halftime of Super Bowl.
Oh, man, you don't want to sell those.
Them is prime time, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now you got this commercial. You can't sell it. And they telling you got 30 seconds to get down here, and get your commercial. You running down there, you know what I mean? What do you feel that 60-second commercial is? And you got to start right now and let me know, what do you feel that 60-second commercial is? You got it now. This your commercial.
So, I believe in life, you have to like you want me to say like what I want to sell to.
Yeah, this your commercial. You just about to start your commercial now. So now they saying, okay, lights, camera, and they gonna start it. So I want you to say, what would you say on that commercial? Act like this is your commercial and give us what your commercial would be.
Right. Well, my commercial would start with learning to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Right. I think in life there's gonna be a lot of different challenges in life. There's gonna be a lot of obstacles that you gotta overcome. Surround yourself around people that make you uncomfortable. And I think that's what the VWBA certified brand is all about, It's an uncomfortable feeling for parents. It's an uncomfortable feeling for kids, but it's something that you should trust. And if you trust it and you believe in it, there's a lot of success that can happen through it. And more importantly, you become mentally tough for it. So I think we should put that on the Super Bowl.
I'll put that on the Super Bowl. I like it. I like it. Fair, man, I love you.
I love you too, man.
I appreciate you coming to show my appreciation. You know, I wanted to make sure that you left with something here. You don't have to open it now because I'm going to let you know what it is.
Okay.
This is here. You see it right in front of you.
Okay.
It's one of our Jegna Klub mugs.
Okay. Oh, man.
Our black Jegna Klub mugs.
I need that. My wife go take it for me, make it for coffee with it. But, hey, man, but shout out to what you're doing, man. Hey, the one thing I've always appreciated about you, you found ways to energize the inner city and keep the inner city going. And you've been doing that ever since I've met you, man. It's always, you always been a pillar in the inner city, and anything that I can do to be a part of it, I would love to do. And don't hesitate on asking me to do anything. And I love you, and I appreciate you having me, Famo.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you, man.
I appreciate it.
So I just appreciate you giving me time. I know you got a lot going on. And I know you're just getting back with your family. So,
yeah.
Once again, please do not forget to tell them that I said thank you for you coming here, time away from them. And, man, I appreciate it. I think this is a message that a lot of our youth need to hear. Right. I think you can empower a lot of our young men to understand that, choices may be hard, but you can be who you want to be.
No doubt.
You don't have to be validated from somebody else. You validate yourself. You stand on your own too. Never surrender.
Right. Never surrender. I mean? That's a great quote, man. That was good, man. I like that. I love it. I still got that sweater, man.
I know you do.
It don't fit no more. Don't go over the stomach no more. Don't go over the stomach, man. It kind of got up here a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still got it, man. That's my motivation, man. To get down
back down to playing weight.
Yeah. Once it start hitting right, I'm like, I'm right where I need to be.
Okay.
Appreciate it, fam.
Well, man, appreciate you. And this is a wrap for this edition of our Evening Social Podcast.
No doubt. Appreciate it.
My name is Chris Dunlap, and I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining me on today's segment of Red Pill, where I give you financial tips to help you decode the matrix. Remember, all I'm doing is offering you the truth and nothing but the truth. What you do with it is up to you. So today's topic is going to be a little boring for a lot of people. Yep, budgeting. We're in a society where a lot of people just don't budget. We spend willy-nilly, we get money, and we count it before we get it, right? And this is a huge financial pitfall and setup for a lot of individuals. That's why budgeting is so important. Back in the day, people used to balance checkbooks. Well, no one carries checkbooks anymore, so we have to do it on our own, either through apps where you can do budgeting or keep an Excel spreadsheet. However, budgeting is super important so you can understand what you have coming in versus what you have going out. When you don't have a budget, it's very easy to overblow accounts. It's very easy to get into debt because you overblow an account. It's either going to have some overdraft fees or you're going to start finding yourself in situations where you have to use credit cards to catch up with your spending habits. And that's one thing in a trap that we don't want to get into. And all a budget simply is looking at how much do I earn, whether that's every 2 weeks, whether that's daily, whether that's monthly, whatever your pay schedule is, or for our young audience, your allowance schedule, your work schedule, whatever that is, how much do you earn versus what are your priority items? For the adults, that should going to be things like your car, your mortgage or your rent, your cell phones, those really important things, your lights and your gas that come out of your checks. Identifying how much that is versus how much you have coming in to give you a baseline of what's going to be left over. And from that leftover money is how you can start determining your budget for what you want to do for savings, which should be first out of that, and then anything as far as entertainment. This is going to be trips, this is going to be eating out, this is going to be going out. Now, what you want to do when you're doing your budget is also include things like your gas and your groceries. A lot of people overlook this. They think they have more money than they have, then it's time to go grocery shopping, or you have to fill up your tank every week or every 2 weeks, and again, you're blowing your budget. So Very important to understand what dollars are coming in versus what dollars are going out. And then from that baseline, you really can start putting together a tight budget on what you want to do with that additional money. But with that additional money, but please include savings in that additional money that you have, and then from there you can figure out your entertainment. Thank you again for joining me for this segment of Red Pill, where I give you financial tips to help you decode the matrix. All I'm doing is giving you the truth and nothing but the truth. Whatever you do with it is on you.